This is a Global Tel-Link prepaid call from
Adnan Syed.
After more than 20 years in prison, 42-year-old Adnan Syed is a free man tonight. Syed was serving a life sentence for the murder of his girlfriend. His case was the subject of the popular podcast Serial.
The saga of Adnan Syed is kind of complex. The whole thing is a disgrace. And it's not simply because a guilty man was let out of prison. I mean, a lot of guilty people, murderers, are let out of prison. The guy did 20-something years. It's the way in which he was let out, and it's the fact that we are being lied to the entire time. He's never admitted this. In fact, there was a deal on the table that said, we will let you out in 4 years if you admit you did it. And he refused, because the entire movement is based on the notion, the delusion, the lie, that they have the moral high ground, that we are innocent, and this is why it's innocence fraud. And the supporters of innocence fraud think that they are righteous. This gives their life meaning. I'm helping an innocent man. Oh, he has to be innocent. That's a critical factor. Well, what if he isn't innocent? Well, I'll just disregard that and will it into being. It's the premise of my whole scheme here. I'm asserting he's innocent, ignoring the fact that he's completely guilty, and all of the evidence points to that, which is why he was convicted. I'm going to tap into my pathetic empathy, pretend he's innocent, and then just do whatever I can do to get him out of prison. And it worked. They got him out of prison. It was a bit of a shit show. It didn't go as planned. They had the crazily popular podcast, Serial, which was just completely giving Adnan Syed's side of the story, him and his supporters. It was him in his own voice. They interviewed him. It was completely sympathetic to the defense. It was just a defense propaganda series, turning an open and shut case of murder into a whodunit. I wonder who has a motivation to do something like that. And so with all this attention and all this popularity, they had momentum, they had power, they had funding. They got the Innocence Project involved, and then they saw their opportunity with a complete idiot, Marilyn Mosby, a disgraced, lame duck district attorney from Baltimore with an agenda and looking to benefit personally and professionally off of letting out yet another person from prison, which was her whole MO. You have to understand that Baltimore is so criminally plagued that it's a downer. It's a downer to talk about crime and criminals and the black community, and so they elect black leaders to give them something better to talk about, better talking points, which is, hey, you know what? We aren't so bad as a community. Sometimes we got the wrong person in jail. I think they didn't do it. Maybe it's the cops that are the problem. So she gets in there, tries to go after the cops with Freddie Gray. Doesn't work. She lets out a ton of people, just like hundreds of people. She reverses all the stuff. She brags about it. She goes, you know what? I barely think anyone really commits crime, especially not blacks. So you're free. And this is a message that it's a nod and a wink to her fan base, her voting base. That's what she ran on. That's what she did. These people like to have a little round of applause for having let out murderers and said, look, aren't I benevolent? Let's all pretend he's innocent, whatever. So they tried that and they rushed it through. Turns out they rushed it a little bit too much, didn't even invite Hae-Min Lee's brother, the family of the victim, to the hearing in which they were aborting justice and vacating this conviction that had been upheld for 20 years, multiple appeals, and they dismissed the case based off total bullshit. Now, this bullshit was reported on by me at the time. Didn't take much to figure out. It was a hatchet job by Becky Feldman and Erica Suter from the Innocence Project, and Marilyn Mosby was just a puppet, and she's stamping approval on all this for her own political career, and she doesn't give a shit. I mean, she's literally letting anyone out of prison. She's like, oh, you have a popular Pakistani guy who murdered his ex-girlfriend 20 years ago, and a bunch of people think he's innocent? You're free. I release you. Like, she is insane. But then she gets voted out. New district attorney comes in, Ivan Bates. He and his team review the case from scratch. They realize that this sentence oversight committee that Marilyn Mosby had thrown together to try to justify why she's letting everybody walk out of prison, headed up by Becky Feldman. The entire thing was a scam. It was bogus. They had no evidence, no new suspects. There was no reason to vacate this conviction. None. And so what do? They overturned it. They said, we can't stand behind this. Our predecessors were idiots. Now, did they throw him back in prison? No. Because the courts are jammed and there's bureaucracy and there was no political will to do this. He had already been let out. The media had eaten this up, hook, line, and sinker, like, oh, an innocent man walked free. Isn't that good? You have the Innocence Project running their BS nonstop, mainstream news, the idiotic true crime podcasters, all of them, just sitting there going, we did it. We got an innocent guy out of jail. And meanwhile, he absolutely killed Hae-Min Lee, if you care about that sort of thing, which you might want to. And so they could have and should have thrown him immediately back into prison, but instead they went for a different avenue, which was the juvenile sentence reduction something. Okay, so they have a law where, like, if you kill someone when you're a teenager and you do 20 years, they're willing to cut you a deal. Again, it's a policy that appeals to this district because they're just so riddled with crime that they view this as leniency and a second chance for, like, this huge bulk of men that are being warehoused. It's very suspect and ridiculous, but this is nothing to do with innocence. You realize that, right? This is just going, look, the guy didn't commit too many crimes in prison. He did 20 years. He was young when he murdered someone. So let's let him out. So that's how this guy got out, was through that. And he shouldn't have, by the way, at all. And so he is not innocent. He is not exonerated. All of the evidence remains rock solid against him. And yet we're sitting here going, oh, what the hell was that about? So we're lied to constantly by these morally atrocious morons. And we got this guy walking around teaching classes at Georgetown about wrongful conviction as a murderer. Like, it's just like, oh God, is that the world we live in? Yes, it is. Yep, it is. And so it wasn't just the Serial podcast that helped get him out, it was HBO. And you had a woman, Jewish woman, named Amy Berg. She produced a show called The Case Against Adnan Syed, as in, we don't buy it, what if, maybe he didn't do it. I mean, completely writing the schlong of the defense, totally biased piece of propaganda, highly produced by HBO to convince more masses of humanity that this dude was innocent when he's not. You sense a little bit of a problem here? You know, the whole infotainment, and now we're dipping into the justice system, and it's steering the justice system, and we're flinging around power and influence and votes and money, and it's done by these, like, lying, horrific people. Anyone spot a problem here? And the thing is, with this show, this HBO show, there was always a final episode. They just never released it because their story didn't end as they wanted it to. The new DA came in and reversed the vacation of the conviction. He isn't innocent. Baltimore says he's not. Maryland doesn't think he is. No one thinks he is. And so he gets let out on this, like, loophole of juvenile resentencing. What? Oh, so he is guilty. But we're still just going to pretend like you guys proved he's innocent? He's not. And so they decided to shelf the final 5th episode of this HBO show because it wasn't timely and they couldn't really put a bow on the story and they didn't really know. In other words, it wasn't the rah-rah, we did it, aren't we amazing, we win, you lose, he's innocent, we proved it. It wasn't that at all. And so they gave it a long time, but they finally put it out. And it's fascinating to see what these hacks tried to do with that 5th episode. I'm going to show you the trailer for it now, and then we're going to dive into several different parts to this episode, and you will be amazed at what these low IQ, lying, morally freakish individuals attempted to do with their latest and perhaps final insult to our intelligence and morality and to Hae-Min Lee and her family by crafting a narrative, spreading their lies, and showcasing it to you. Hey, if you got some good editing and put a little music on it, get some motion graphics in there, people just believe it. It'll just work. But it's not going to work. Didn't work on me, it's not going to work on you. We're going to go through it. This is the trailer to the 5th episode of The Case Against Adnan Syed.
I'm a letter carrier and was delivering to my customer in Baltimore County. I saw a man wearing a black hood over his face. carrying a pink children's jacket in the woods. He was completely naked.
Your Honor? Point of order? Relevance? What the... Okay, can I just explain to you what they're doing here? This man, the black man holding a pink jacket in the woods, naked, in a ski mask, that is Alonzo Sellers. He is the man who discovered Hae Min Lee's body in those very same woods. He had an indecent exposure arrest prior to 1999 when this all happened, and apparently now he was charged with second-degree assault because this postal worker started filming him. He got agitated, went up to her car, she drove off. She went and charged him with second-degree assault. Now, is it freaky and weird that he's a random naked guy in the woods? Yes. Nobody knows what he's doing. Is this evidence of something? No. When did this happen? Interesting that they didn't mention when this happened. It's funny, like she had a cell phone? When was that? 1999? This was in 2020. Alonzo Sellers discovered the body and called 911 in 1999. So it is completely and totally irrelevant. By the way, this would never be used in court, and this is kind of a key point. So they tried to bring up this dude's indecent exposure stuff in the original trial, as if that has any bearing on anything. It's like, hey, you cheated on a test once, so let's use it to smear you because you're the person that discovered the body. And what they're trying to do is, well, look, there's a black guy and he did discover her body. Yes, he did call it in. Yes, it makes no sense. It was a month after she had been killed. It literally makes no sense for him to be the murderer, and there's no evidence that he is, but he is a black guy and he's a little bit weird. He's got a charge, an indecent exposure charge. Let's bring it up to court. And the judge says, no, you're not fucking bringing that charge into this courtroom and trying to poison the well and be like, hey, this guy once took his clothes off, so he probably murdered a girl. It's absurd and ridiculous. No goddamn way are we letting you bring that in. And it wasn't brought in. And this dude testified and was cross-examined. He is not a suspect in this. He was thoroughly investigated. And then these goddamn lunatics have the nerve to bring in an incident from 21 years later. 21 years later, where this dude's walking around the woods naked. And they're going, our boy must be innocent. Look at this dude, he's naked. 20 years later, a man is naked in the woods, therefore our guy didn't kill his ex-girlfriend. Even though he said he was going to do that, he wrote it down, I'm going to kill. He told his friends he was going to do it. He brought her dead body to his pot dealer friend to bury. I mean, come on. But they're going with it. Just totally shameless. But this is not a court, and this is something else, the court of public opinion, which is not a court, has no rules, has no judge, there is no objections, there is no other side. So it's totally unethical what they're doing right now. I saw a guy naked in the woods. Oh, did you? And how are you tethering that to a point? Watch.
He was completely naked.
This case is one of the strangest cases I've ever seen in my career.
Everyone involved said it was an open and shut case, boring and uneventful. The obvious murderer was caught. But she works for something called the Innocence Project, and when you're an innocence hammer, you're looking for an innocence nail. That's all you do. Show me a guy in prison, I'll tell you he's innocent.
Police found 18-year-old Hae Min Lee's half-buried body. News of Syed's arrest is met with disbelief.
Since the series aired on HBO, a lot's happened.
There is a lot of information that calls into question the integrity of this conviction.
When I was still a teenager, I was like, well, hopefully this will get straightened out. Now I'm getting close to 40.
Out of the way, out of the way.
We're gonna seek justice. We're gonna look into whether or not he's innocent. I'm gonna do everything and do what's right.
The case has just been systematically destroyed.
How many different ways can these people try to hide from the truth?
So the absolute audacity of them saying, we care about justice, we care about truth, that is just as big of a lie as you could make. So they're doing the exact opposite. What they're doing is a grave injustice to Hae Min Lee and her family, and to all of us, and they're lying constantly. So, do you realize when they say talk is cheap, it is dirt cheap. You could just say anything. Just be like, I'm the king of Siam. Are you? Well, I just said it, didn't I? And in a world where we are very powerless, we don't control much, and yet we want a lot of things, one thing we can't control is the noises coming out of our mouth. And if we can wield that noise and leverage it to be power, So if I make these noises, I get something? Oh, okay, well, I'll just do that. So it's basically a 1 degree removed from a baby crying because it wet its diaper or it wants food. And it learns, oh, if I cry, I get things. But for these adults, it's if I lie, I get things. We looking for justice. We just care about the truth. Adnan Syed said, what are they so afraid of the truth of? What? What, Adnan? You fucking diabolical piece of shit. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I almost let that slip. Did they say in this unsolved murder? I'm sorry, what? It's been solved. It was solved 25 years ago. It was upheld on appeal after appeal, and even the Supreme Court upheld the decision. There is no unsolved murder. So just think of what we are witnessing. An open and shut case of murder with a mountain of evidence against a guy gets turned into infotainment. The True Crime Cat Ladies pick it up, serial podcast. They turn it into a whodunit. It's now an unsolved murder. I mean, yeah, let's frame it like that. Totally, let's do that. I mean, this is the wet dream of the defense team. The unsolved murder of the case of the guy rotting in jail because he 100% did this murder. That's the unsolved murder. That's the whodunit. And now it's a TV show. It's on HBO. It's a podcast. And we're asking questions. What if he didn't do it? Woo! Fascinating. I wonder if we could do this on literally any other case. I wonder. And who's overseeing this, by the way? Who's the person overseeing Sarah Koenig at Serial? Oh, no one? Oh, okay. The stockholders of her company that are trying to get money and clicks and attention and downloads? That's the oversight committee? Interesting.
I've seen cases where a conviction was vacated. I'd just be grateful for the chance to make it home to my family without having to plead guilty.
So it's Adnan. It's a bunch of pictures of Adnan. No Heyman Lee. She's the woman that was murdered. It's the only reason that this Pakistani dipshit is in the news or is, he's relevant at all is because he murdered a woman. She's not mentioned, and the whole thing is called the case against Adnan Syed, which is a rock-solid case. He was never found innocent, not even close, and we're going to go into it. So first, I just want to circle back to the naked guy in the woods, because they start this episode with suggesting and planting the seed in your brain that the true killer, so this is the most limp-dicked case against another person. It's not good enough for the state, the police. No one believes that Alonzo Sellers killed her. This is the man who found her body and called it in, and then took and passed a lie detector test, went to trial, answered all questions. If there was a case against him, they would obviously have arrested him. Now, this is the defense team saying, look over there, look over there. Okay, the prosecution is not here. There will not be a cross-examination of their bullshit, preposterous attempt to frame. They're trying to frame Alonzo Sellers for having done this. Their evidence? He once took his clothes off and walked around the woods 20 years later. That's your evidence. Fucking hell.
To witness the rest of this video, sign up at censored.tv. Be sure to use the coupon code ROOM to get 20% off. Or you can head over to subscribestar.com/atheism and join up to receive every full-length new video Devon makes. It barely costs anything to sign up. You know he deserves your support, and you deserve to be entertained by every new video AIU creates. So become a flying monkey and let's go.